Hey guys, Akil Stokes here, and welcome to another episode of the Trading Blog. It is Monday, so you know that instead of having our live trading room this morning, we had our private Q&A session with our transformation members. And one of the topics that we talked about this morning was strategy development. I got an email from one of our transformation members who overheard me talking about one of the old strategies I used to use. It was a trend continuation strategy, and really want to see, he said, Akil, before I go about back testing this strategy, can we kind of go over it and talk about it to make sure it's something that's worth doing? So we spent our morning talking about this strategy, talking about the way that the trader wanted to trade it, and just giving some advice on, hey, maybe you should try this, maybe you shouldn't try that. And one of the things I talked about during this process is back testing, right? We all know, or if you don't know, backtesting is the process that you go through, kind of the scientific evaluation process that you go through of however you plan on trading to make sure that it actually works. Now, we do backtesting using historical data. So of course, right, past data doesn't mean that the future will hold the same results, but combining backtesting with past results, combining demo trading or paper trading with kind of live results is the best that you can do. It's the best way you can have an idea on whether what you're doing works or not. And I know there are people out there, whenever I talk about backtesting, that say, oh, well, it doesn't make a difference. You can't do that based off past data. Just stop and be open to it for a little bit. Think about other things in life where you have taken history and have used history to make assumptions and predictions about the future. It's not as wild and crazy as you can think, or as you think it may be. But when we talk about the back testing process, it kind of brought me into the back testing that I would like to do. I was busy this week. I took a trip across the state to see the Great Lakes, right? And it was about a 6-hour trip both ways, 6 hours up, 6 hours back. And I had a lot of time to really focus on myself instead of just focusing on the business side. So ignoring emails for a couple days and not worrying about putting out videos for a couple days allowed me to kind of focus on my trading and read some books and kind of figure out what I want to do next. And I have a few weeks that are going to be lighter coming up where I can actually go through the back testing process. And I told the traders, I go through basically two back testing processes. I go through the initial process before we start actually developing or acquiring, I should say, data. I go through the initial process where I like to do the eye test. This is the process where I have a general idea of what I want to do with my strategy, but I don't have all the small, minute questions figured out. So I know I want to look for this type of trade, and then it's, hey, should I look for targets here? Should I put stops like this? Should I do that? Should I do this? All of those questions are swirling around. And what I like to do in this initial process is I like to do an eye test. I like to scroll through the market, not really collecting data, but really just taking notes and try to figure out the best way I want to attack this new strategy. And then after I have that figured out, for the most part, then that's when you want to get into the real number crunching part of, shaking the camera here. That's when you want to get into the real number crunching part of back testing. And of course you still have to go back and answer even more questions, but at least you're not, at least you've condensed the 1,000,001 questions that you had originally to maybe only a handful. And with the end of the quarter coming up, right, I want to get that done so I can make a decision whether this is something I want to add for the next quarter or push on down the road. And if you're new with me, if you haven't been through a training course, I typically like to do my evaluation. I typically like to add or subtract things from my portfolio, add or subtract things from my trading plan on a quarterly basis. That way I have enough breathing room not to really make just a breakneck decision. I don't want to be influenced by what happened today in the market and just make some type of emotional decision and switch everything I'm doing tomorrow. That could be very damaging. And the same thing is for you guys, that are jumping back and forth from trading strategy to trading strategy. We actually had a great War Room this meeting from Charles Miles where he talked about being secure in your strategy, being having confidence in your strategy and being able to fight through a drawdown and really not give up and keep doing what you're doing. And actually, I'll throw in a clip of that right now in editing.
So in January, it was a rough month for both of us. Minus 451 pips on that month. That's January right there. February right here. plus 426 on the month of pips earned back. So think about that. I wanted to show that just to show that, hey, I did nothing different than I did the month before. And now I made 400, almost all of it back, right? Made almost all that back. And I haven't done anything different. I've traded the same type of plan, the same type of methods. Nothing has changed. What does that tell you? What should that tell you? That should tell you that you have to have a plan you believe in so you can make it through that. 1. 2, you have to have a plan that can do that. All right? It has to be able to do it as well. And you need to stay consistent with it. Otherwise, that doesn't happen. You hit that 400 pip drawdown and then you're like, I'm done with this. And you move on to the next system or method or whatever. You abandon that plan and move on to a new one. Most traders never trade a plan long enough to even find out if it's not profitable, or even find out if they can, even to just become profitable. And they never make it that far, even if it's a profitable plan. Like, hey, these are profitable rules, use them, you've tested them, and then you go to trade it, and you can't even make it through your first drawdown. And it happens. It's not like it's so easy. It is hard. But once you do it, wow, that is a huge breakthrough. So guys, I hope you have a great Monday to start off your week here.
So I haven't done my numbers yet. I'll do them at the end of the month, but they're very similar to Charles, just looking at my equity curve, how it's down and then right back up. And it's one of those things where you've been with me throughout this entire year. I started this blog at the beginning of January, and you were with me when trading was going really, really, really poorly. And what did we say the entire time, right? We said, just stick with it. Be confident. We're in a drawdown. It stinks that it's at the beginning of the year, but we will get out of it. We will get out of it. And we're starting to see that turnaround. Now, will we go right back into another drawdown? I don't know. Will we smash through and create new equity highs? I don't know. All I know is that historically what we've been doing has worked, and there's no need to deviate from that just because the start didn't get off the way we liked. And a lot of traders have issues doing that. Another comment I got here on YouTube the other day was, Akil, what do you mean? It was a trader asking about different coaching programs and what should he do? And I said, well, we have full training courses available, obviously, but we also have coaching programs that traders use for support, such as our syndicate service, which I just showed you the video from, and our live rooms. And he said, what do you mean by support? Well, support is a place where you can come and gather with other traders, either other traders like yourself or a handful of professional traders like myself, Jason Greystone, and Charles Miles. And what that support does is just makes you feel accountable. So if you're that trader that's on the edge, you know you're bouncing from one place to another every single day, every single week, right? Being able to come into the syndicate, for example, and see how professional traders are going through drawdowns and how we're sticking to the plan, we're not deviating from our rules, and we're pulling ourselves out of that, is very, it's a boost to the confidence of many other traders that are thinking the same thing or that otherwise would have jumped ship. Same thing with our live trading rooms. You come in and you see that we have rough days. You see that we have very good days, but you see that we come in and we execute the plan day in and day out. And for a trader that may be on the edge of kind of jumping ship or sticking with it, that needs that little extra boost, that little extra tap on the back to say, hey, Doug, just stick with it. You'll be okay. You know, that's a great supportive program for them. So if you're interested in something like that, we do have trials. We have a 1-week trial in the live rooms for free. So get in there, either the London room with Jason Greystone or the New York room with myself. And of course, we have the 1-month trial in the syndicate where it's $1 for 30 days. So if you're a trader that feels like you're on the edge, that you need some support, maybe your trading isn't bad, but the psychological side, you need some support in sticking with it, I recommend trying one of those programs out. So again, I don't know if I had a real topic for today's trading blog, but I did want to get out and give you guys something since it's Monday. I've got a big checklist of things I got to do. If we look over here, so I'm going to produce this thing and get it out to you and spend these next 2 off days working through that massive checklist. But until next time, guys, plan your trade, trade your plan. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode of The Trading Blog. All right, traders, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please show us by hitting that like button and subscribing by clicking the button right below. If you're looking for more educational content, feel free to head over to our TradeEmpowered.com website, or also take a look and you'll see more videos available for you. Have a good one.